Board games, board games. I might be talking about board games and designing and marketing, but I'm not gonna shout. When you make your game and make it be, you've got to sometimes work out your USP. What's your unique selling point? What's unique about your game? Can you do it in a way that's easy to frame? What's going on and make it easy to understand? That way, maybe your game will spread throughout the land. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. 10 a.m.ish UK time for Basic Beats and Board Game Bladder episode 994. This is the final week before episode 1000, epic stream. But today, tomorrow, Sunday, possibly Monday, will be relatively short. And I would like to chat about summarizing your game in a few quick sentences, or even in just one sentence. Can you summarize your game in one sentence and really have it be applied to just your game? Superlatives can help. I mean, if you can say that your game is the simplest, most accessible drafting game, I mean, I would instantly think of Sushi Go, and certainly at the time that was made, it was totally true. And that was what that game was trying to be. If I say, like, for yogi, I've never actually tried to do this. How would I describe it? I guess I would say, just I described it as the best party game of physical constraints, but I would probably say a, a party game about big physical challenges that you can play anywhere without touching other people and then calculate some number with how many challenges there are with a random combination of 5 cards with this many combinations with more than a billion different possible challenges, and thanks to a small deck of 54 cards. I mean, that's a long sentence, but it gets across the thing. Like with a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after some mixed noises, which started off my whole Bessie Bargain Bag line. I was originally I didn't know what to call it. So I was thinking, okay, this is a game. There's some wee whimsical creatures, and Jess Medringham said, hey, how about that name? Wee whimsical creatures, that's cool. And then on Twitter, some people said, oh, I like that name. But what if you go the whole Victorian era route and say a game about blah, 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 blah? Just that's an interesting idea. So I played it so much, and it was really clear what that unique selling point is. I mean, is there any other game about creatures and trying to identify them after some mixed noises? After I made it, I discovered that there was one, but it definitely, if you are in a party of two, and then it's not a terrible thing. Similarly, all my subsequent Bessie Bargain Bags have been a title with one full sentence where I'm trying to get across what's going on. I mean, a game about drawing creatures, sure, that's normal. Complimenting the drawings, okay, I guess you do that in some other games. And complimenting the compliments, wow, okay, that's really weird. What's going on here? Now I'm intrigued. It's about that unique bit. And a game about auctioning cubes, okay, that sounds normal. After winning an auction, yeah, you've got multiple auctions, okay, to become the auctioneer. Wait a minute, you've got an auction to become the auctioneer? That's unique. And this is what I'm talking about. A game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different. Even there, it's like, there's so many games about quickly grabbing stuff that matches, but grabbing stuff that's totally different, that's slightly unique. I mean, I think that's unique. When I say slightly unique, it's either unique or it's not. I think it's unique. But, and counting your turnips, now you've got something that throws in the person's face. And as Andy Beardsley was saying on the day, it's like that grit in the oyster, something that helps turn it into a pearl. So if we were looking at Azul, I mean, what's going on there? If I were pitching that to a publisher, I would be saying something about how the puzzle in the center, a drafting puzzle that's as engaging as the puzzle in front of you. Because up until that point, drafting had been, okay, you've got to market through something really basic. And sure, you might have, I don't know, My Shelfie from Matthew Dunstan and other games where, we've got a central puzzle that's a bit interesting. And Alex says their latest design is a civilization game in an hour. I mean, that's a unique selling point. Nicely done. I mean, I think Tapestry was trying to be a 4X game in a really short space of time, but is it a short space of time? Like, especially when you've got, like, had a higher player counts? And is it really a 4X game? But like, if you can make that happen, that is a really strong thing. And so you might be wondering why I put on YouTube and Facebook, if you're like, I put some hashtags, and the last one is board game design. So you might be thinking, what's this even got to do with board game design? Shouldn't that be a job for the marketers? Shouldn't that be a job for, well, yeah, I'll struggle through showing it. Firstly, assuming you're sharing it to a publisher, if you're doing a sell sheet, or even if you're just showing it to them in person, you need to be able to quickly explain what's going on. When I put down a game in front of someone, I need to explain, even if this sounds egotistical, but I am fortunate that my first game sold hundreds of thousands of copies, and for that reason, I am more likely to get a pitch meeting than someone who doesn't have a published game yet. And to take advantage of that opportunity, if I'm sitting down with someone, I need to be able to quickly explain what my games are, because like I might have 10 games or so at Spiel 2022. I sat down with someone, we hadn't arranged something beforehand, and it's a case of, okay, how can I explain what's going on here as quickly as possible? And thankfully, because of the titles of my latest games, that is basically the pitch. And I've got a reason why I say to people when they're demoing my stuff, no, don't shorten the name of my games. Never do that. If you are demonstrating a game about seriously surreal creatures and trying to identify them after mixed noises, which is very similar to a game about cute comical creatures that are and trying to identify them after mixed noises, you could say, hey, if you like that, would you prefer some seriously surreal creatures, or some wee whimsical creatures, or some cute comical creatures? But when people are coming in, it's about, hey, you're trying to identify them after someone makes noises, and that's the key thing. And similarly, for a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures, that is the rules of the game. That's the unique bit. But there is a second unique bit of, okay, when I split the deck, instantly there's potentially two matches coming out. And that's something that I would mention afterwards, but I would first try to give them an idea of what's going on. And hello, Timmy. It's lovely to see you. And Alex is completely right, who says designers have to market their game to playtesters and publishers. Actually, I'm going to retract my "you're completely right," but I would say that depending on where you are, you might not have to market it to playtesters. You might be able to find yourself in situations where people are borderline obligated to play your games. Look, if you come to Friday Daytime Playtests, have you ever been? I can't remember if Alex has been to the London Friday Daytime Playtests. So at the Friday Daytime Playtests, we have a very strict schedule at the start of the day, and it's a case of these people will get their games played. Now, at the start of each session, whether there's 2 or 3 designers showing off their games, you will do a quick pitch and you'll say, okay, my game is, for example, if I were to explain the game, one of my recent games, I might say, okay, this is a quick action, simultaneous action selection. You're drawing stuff out of a bag and you're building your own private bag, and there's a real-time element to it, but then you're all working to attack each other on this central board. And you want something that's succinct, and then people decide which one they want to play. And people who come without a game of their own get priority. So they will say, oh, I like that one, or I like that one. And if your game is getting towards the end, you have to, and no one chooses to play your game, you might start thinking, well, is this fun? Am I going to be able to do it to them? But you will get the playtesters at a certain point. It's be like, okay, that person already has 4 playtesters. Now the other people get their playtesters. Alex says, even when obligated to playtest, you have to explain the game to them. Do you think it's possible to explain a game without marketing it? Yes, I think it is. I'm trying to think through what you're saying, and also talk at the same time. But I don't think that teaching a game is the same as marketing it at all. I feel like marketing it is kind of focusing on specific qualities, being able to hone in on those unique points, being able to, for yourself, think what's the best part of this game and communicate that to other people. Whereas teaching is explaining the rules and explaining everything. You don't have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to focus your speech in that thing. And Alex says, oh, but you're wrong. Everything is marketing. If literally everything is marketing, then the word marketing is kind of useless. I don't think we can never say everything is art. I mean, some things are just functional. Me going to the toilet and pooping is not art. And Timmy, I'm sorry that you've got such a cold place. That is very cold, and it's meant to be it's getting into summer. Lots of love. Nova Scotia, not a place I'd like to be. That's basically one thing that this whole stream has taught me. Look, I think that marketing to me is sort of deciding. It's kind of not just giving all the information, but I'm not talking about withholding information, but it's deciding what to focus on. But yeah, let me take a step back, and because I do want this to be a very quick stream, although tomorrow and Sunday will be even faster, and talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. Well, yesterday I got a good amount of stuff done. I did art for 2 different games yesterday, so I feel a sense of achievement for that. I managed to pack, although some of the packing was already done from the past convention. I found my way over to Hereford, which was lovely. And yeah, I managed to work out, I think, a decent distribution of auction systems for a game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer. And I also wrote the instructions for a game about, it's my basically untitled deck construction game. It's called A Game About Deciding Which Cards to Use in Your Deck Before You Play, technically known as Deck Construction, basically designed for just one event. Anyway, what I was going to show you during the recent highlights. Window, there we go, boom. So These are some drawings. These are the 6 people or these are the 6 humanish characters that you will get to play as in a game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction after. Oh, Hereford. Oh my gosh, it's Time Roller. Thank you very much. That is amazing. Time Roller, thank you for the raid. I hope that your hair is braided. Only if you want your hair to be braided. Either way, thank you. I'm glad I got raided. That's a terrible song, but hello, good morning, and I hope you're generally well. Thank you very much. And thank you, Legends. Hello, Legends, and hello, Time Roller. It is an absolute delight. Thank you. This is amazing. And we are talking about marketing games and finding out the unique selling points of your games. And this is going to be a slightly embarrassingly short stream. But I hope that you are all generally well and having a wonderful day. What have you been up to? What was your stream about? Let us know. Anyway, Alex says teaching a game is definitely marketing. You're sharing the game with people. I disagree. It depends what your objective is. If you are teaching the game in order to allow people to play the game and doing that at a convention, yes, that is marketing. If you're teaching the game in order to market it when you're playtesting, I would say that you're doing things the wrong way. I would say that you can teach, if you are teaching a game at a playtest, it's primarily in order to, you can practice your marketing or you can teach your game and see if it's good and playtest it. That's, to me, a distinction. But yes, Hereford is a place in the UK, as Alex said. And Time Roller says, got a new to me game, Vindication. It was fun. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Excellent. And let me change this banner a little bit. There we go. I'm marginally bigger. And I suppose it comes down to intentional or unintentional marketing. I would say, yeah, I don't think, again, sure, I'm not blind to the fact that me mentioning my own games on this stream is a form of marketing, but that's not the primary purpose. Anyway, so yesterday highlights. So I did the front covers for a game about words that rhyme with terrible rules on a line, and a game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer. The top page is for the, oh, what cube's this going to be? And a little fish, big fish, jellyfish, octopus are worth 1, 2, and 5. These are the people, and those will be your starting cards. Other cards will just be numbers and a type of aquatic animal. And these are some of the drawings that I did for a game about words that rhyme and terrible rules on a line. The rules are going to be terrible. They're going to be intentionally vague, and I'm excited for this. Part of the game will literally be working out what you want the rules to be. And one side of the cards will have all these different words to what's the word I'm looking for? Words that rhyme. One side of the cards will have, like, it might be hat, bat, cat, diplomat, laundromat, and it'll typically have 3 or 4 one-syllable words and then 1 or 2 multi-syllabic words, which I quite like that juxtaposition. And then this side is just going to be things on things to inspire your poetry. And that is all stuff that I did yesterday morning, technically. I finished it. Anyway, it's all sent off. And that is definitely my recent highlights. And also getting here on the train is just lovely. It was a difficult journey, but being here in Hereford, with a lovely friend and like seeing hearing the birds outside, that's lovely. But that's my recent highlights. What are some of your recent highlights? What have you been up to? Genuinely let me know. And let's talk about a small brilliant thing, brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? I mean, firstly, I want to say the alphabet is pretty brilliant. I mean, I'm sure that if you really thought about it, I think that the Korean system, Hangul, is better, but like all of these letters are all diverse and they allow us to read things. And then we see these symbols, and then instantly we put the symbols together, and then we come up with words in our minds. And I'm like, just by seeing this, something comes into your mind. And I think that's magical. I think that's brilliant. Um, I haven't done anything except chirp David Hansen lately. I don't know what chirp David Hansen means, but feel free to explain. But getting back to the topic, I mean, why should games have something unique? Should we be always chasing novelty? No, sometimes it's nice to be a refinement, but that's where you need to have like a descriptor or a superlative or some sort of adjective. Like maybe you say this is the fastest, or this is the simplest, or maybe you say this is focusing, this has, like, it's combining two things, like a civilization game playable within an hour. That's, I mean, if you actually get the feeling of a civilization game within an hour, then good work and well done to you. Alex says, I am walking to the next town over because of the rail station strike, but the nice weather makes it an unexpected highlight. That is lovely. Non-primary colours are brilliant. Interesting. What do you mean by non-primary colours? Because are we talking the additive colour method or the subtractive colour method? Are we talking about CMY, cyan, magenta, and yellow, where you put together the inks and then you make anything? Or are we talking about red, green, and blue? And so are you saying that really there's something lovely about those pastel colours, like just slightly off shades? I mean, you could say that this is magenta. It's basically a primary colour. Secondary colours do more complex subjects and some exams, says Alex. Okay, apparently there's a meme about someone called David Hansen, and David Hansen has been annoying while but yeah, do games need to have unique stuff going on? I mean, what is your favorite game? And how would you describe it in one sentence? Do you think that that one sentence would apply to other games? Like, well, for me, the reasons that I love Go, that I keep saying, is because it's a abstract strategy game with very deep decision space that you can play with basically anyone because of an elegant method of making it fair. And that's the key bit at the end, the elegant method of making it fair, the putting down extra stones. Then, I mean, Jungle Speed, when it came out, I mean, that's something that's after a while, after literally hundreds of games, I got tired of. But I would say a game of Snap, but occasionally a game of Snap where you have to grab the totem after an exact match, but watch out because sometimes they will only be similar. The patterns intentionally try to confuse you. I mean, that's a long run-on sentence, but that's the key thing. Like, it intentionally tries to confuse you, and that's the beauty of that. That, you know, after that, more and more happened. And yeah, I do get the thing of, yeah. And Alex says, no, absolutely not. Often the most successful version of the game is not the innovator. What you perhaps need is a uniquely good implementation of the novel idea. And I'll kind of go along with that. But there is still going to be something unique about that. It might not be the mechanism, but it will be the combination of things. I mean, Hearthstone it's very much an evolution of every other trading card game out there, and it's very much taken from World of Warcraft, the trading card game, which they then discontinued and brought into the digital realm. But there are unique things that you can point to and say, this is what's really cool about it. Um, and Timmy says, my favorite game is Skies of Arcadia on Dreamcast. I'd describe it as cool airships flying around, blasting stuff. I mean, that's a hook. That gets me. Oh, airships flying around, blasting stuff. I mean, it doesn't tell me exactly what I'm doing. I mean, it doesn't reach into the narrative or the RPG elements or anything, but it gets me interested. It makes me think, okay, like how many games do I have which are airships flying through it and blah. And I do agree that a reimagined version is possibly going to be the better one. I mean, Agricola was not the first worker placement game, but even there's a sense of, okay, what is Agricola? Agricola is, maybe it's difficult to summarize it in just one sentence, and I'm actually trying to do that. You've got me at, I'm putting myself on the spot. I was going to say you are putting me on the spot, but no one's forcing me to do this except for me. Let me take a drink of water while I think. Hydration, its importance. And Alex says, haha, interesting challenge. And apparently there's a street called Agricola in Nova Scotia. I would describe Agricola as carefully choose actions to bring your workers to self-sufficiency. Yeah, that sounds really vague and tenuous, but it's definitely got to be something about the feeding of workers, because I feel like the feeding of workers in Agricola is definitely part of it. The evolution and the slow addition of extra spots is part of it. The fact that there's direct competition, but that was already present in Kalis, so that's not really something new. So I'm going to say, yeah, if we had today's verbiage, I don't know if worker placements was really a thing then, but I would say a worker placement game with ever-increasing actions, ever-increasing possible actions, and the workers are real people that you need to house and feed. I think that was the thing, like that you need to have a space for them to live. Yeah, and I guess I've not even mentioned the fact that you're building up a farm, but for me, that is like the core of it, the feeding and everything. And Alex says, please summarize the unique qualities of brass in a single sentence. Like I would probably say, it's been a long time since I even played brass. I've only played it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was back in the day, the old version, which doesn't look quite as nice as the new Roxley revamp. But I would say, yeah, I'm going to pass on that challenge, but it would be something about, I guess, the balance between build up your own economy by and try to use the opportunity that your opponents give you. That's really weak. That's really weak. Timmy says, I am a worker and I require food as well. I'd like sushi right now. Alex says, for Agricola, use your workers to build a successful subsistence farm with unique card powers. See, I wouldn't use the unique card powers. I don't think the unique card powers are a core part of Agricola. You can play Agricola, the family version, and it's still a really good game. And it still feels like that is still a part of the core of Agricola, to my mind at least. mean, sure, for your subsequent games, the cards do give you variants, they give you a direction, but yeah, steal beer from your opponent's net. Beer? Is it beer? Steal beer from your opponent's network in order to trade industrial era goods. I like that. But I guess what I'm saying is try and summarize if you're making a game in a short thing, and if you can't, do you need to do something to make your game unique? Whether that's putting a superlative on it, thinking about, okay, can this be played in a certain time that other things can't, or whatever. Anyway, at this point, I am going to start winding down. I'm just actually seeing who is live, and it is Aleski doing Legends of Zelda and NGL Sweet for music. Might rate someone doing music, but like I am going to talk about question of the day. Question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. So my question of the day is: what's the next convention that you're going to? That's my question. What's the next convention you're going to? Are you going to UK Games Expo? Is that your next convention? Are you going to something else? I am going to UK Games Expo, but that is not my next convention. My next convention is going to be this afternoon, the Hereford Here for Games Mega May event. And it's a lovely thing. And I woke up this morning and I felt so good. I felt like I was at peace. And I was like, yeah, there's not a big, you need to do this. Like, I mean, UK Games Expo, once I'm there, I'm going to be loving it. But there is definitely a bit of tension and a bit of, okay, if I don't sell at least a few hundred games, I'll be, what's gone wrong? But yeah, here it's like, you know what, I could go the whole weekend and just sell 5 games, and I would be thinking, you know what, it was nice. I got to come and hang out and have a good time, hopefully. But yeah, what is your next convention? Dr. Flim Flam Esquire says, UK Games Expo, my first time. Well, I hope to maybe see you there. I'll be at the stand, and there is a newcomers thing where, you might, yeah. And I will introduce you to the elbow dance. So the elbow dance is right elbow, and right foot, left ankle, and then jazz hands. And yes, Timmy says, I've never been to a convention. I don't know if I'll go to one. We don't have much here except Halcon. That's sad. Alex says, I'm going to UK Games Expo too. Hope to see you there. Yeah, it will be lovely to see you. And if I will excuse myself in advance, this sounds really hoity-toity. I hope it doesn't. But I am going to be trying to get a bunch of media folk and doing interviews. So obviously, if I'm being videoed or whatever, I can't really say hello to everyone. But it will be lovely to see you. And if you are thinking of what time shall I go and see Bez, I encourage you to come over at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. So Friday we'll have Yogi, which is still my best-selling game, and it's basically my on-you evergreen. Although a game about creatures and trying to identify the motors makes noises might be my second. We'll see. And we'll have the original, then we'll have the cards from the sequel, then we'll have all the stuff going on. It'll be silly, it'll be a laugh. Saturday we'll have a game about seriously surreal creatures and trying to identify the motors makes noises, as well as cute comical creatures and wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify the motors makes noises. And we mix them all together. That will be a laugh, and there will be a drawing in contest. So if you, a colouring in contest, I should say. So if you come anytime, there will be a table, people colouring in stuff, and if you colour in something and then sign the front of it, yeah, you need to sign the front of it. I've just decided, and I'll shuffle them and I'll pick a winner at about 3 p.m. on Sunday, but we'll be using those coloured in cards for the finale on Sunday of a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your beetroots, or game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your radishes. So that is going to be the big 2 p.m. event on Sunday. So yes, definitely come for those. It will be lovely to see you. Lots of love. And yeah, over to you. What you're up to, you can share, Bosley, if you want to. I have a little bit of work still to do for games that I'm hoping to have released at UK Games Expo. If I get all my rules right and all my art descriptions in place, and I'm just groaning because I've also got to get prep, by which I've just mean I've got to put on clothes. I've got my I'll be also going to this convention, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be sending stuff to Jack and doing this convention thing. And tomorrow, but is there anything that you want to share? Something that you want to do? Something that you need to do? Please share. I promise that I care. Timmy says, I'm up. I'm still laying on the floor in front of the heater, thinking about sushi. I mean, sushi in front of a heater, that's no good. I mean, you want to keep your sushi cool. No, especially if it's proper sushi with raw stuff. I mean, I know that nowadays, if you buy sushi from the supermarkets, it's always like actually cooked stuff. But let recap and wrap up before we finish up. I think I shared some pictures from Facebook of recent highlights that I'd drawn. I talked about going on the train and coming here. I talked about Sushi Go and like my own game names and how and the idea of being making your games a little bit different, having some sort of unique selling point. And whether that's a game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer, or whether that's a civilization game in an hour. We talked about letters being brilliant. We talked about, not every game needs to be totally brand new. It can be an evolution, but even there needs to be something that differentiates it. It's all about a differentiator. I think that's ultimately what it is. I mean, why would someone buy Zuli when Sushi Go exists? Well, maybe you like animals. Maybe you really like the idea that these things in front of you, you can interact with them a little bit more. Maybe you want like a tiny step above Sushi Go. And so like Sushi Go is already doing Sushi Go really well. So let's not make Sushi Go again. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Sushi Go is a good game. And Alex says, I'm getting new glasses today, which is a good thing because these ones are falling apart. And I'm very sorry that your glasses broke. That's really terrible. I do need to buy glasses at some point. And I probably want to get my hair cut and maybe coloured before UK Games Expo. I do have a tiny bit. It's very barely red. I might try some home dyes, but I'm not expecting them to stick as well. I'm expecting to have to bleach it. And but lots of love to all of yous. Share, spread the word. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I am Stuff by Bez in all of these places. Stuffbybez.com/streams will tell you about what my final, my final 6 streams are going to be. Saturday, Sunday, I am in Hereford. I will be interrupting my solo table for 5-10 minutes when I can. Monday, I'll have a debrief with Adam Best, the organizer. Tuesday, I will maybe be chatting to Sophia and Zoe about their entertainment. Wednesday, I'll be pondering mechanisms with Alan Paul, and Thursday will be my special 1000th show with Rita Model, Kirsten Lunde, Ryan Estrada, Glenn Ford, Jess Medringham, Alan Paul, Joe Kelly, Kenechukwu Ogbagu, Chris and Suzanne Zinsley, Tori Brown, Kathleen Mercury, Natalia Bazar, maybe Kristen and Andy Looney, I need to chase them up, Ellie Dix, Anya Coombs, Eric Lang, Eric Royce, Amabel Holland, and Elizabeth Hargrave. And that will be a lovely way to finish off my things, hopefully. And also, I do want to share another small recent highlight. I might have someone that I kind of know staying with me for a couple of weeks just to help me get on top of stuff and hopefully also do lots of postage. I unfortunately don't have my latest Kickstarter games yet, but they should be coming next week. Fingers crossed. Stats is everything. Lots of love. And I can't think of anything else to say. And lol. Am I doing a 1,000-hour stream? Am I doing a 1,000-hour stream? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, I tend to have like annual haircuts. Anyway, we will. I will say goodbye, and I think that's a great idea. No, 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 it's not. So I am going to put up the raid thing, and raid. We'll listen to some music. Lots of love to everyone, and the only thing left to say at this point is lots of love and bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Blue, 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 bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. I like that idea more. I just need to work out how long it actually is though. 1,000-second stream. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye. Bye, bye, everyone. Thanks for doing the maths for me. And bye, bye. Lots of love.